Hello, I'm Rebecca Horan, and a very warm welcome to A Little Birdie Told Me, a podcast brought to you by rollercoaster.ie. In this season, I will sit down and chat to 16 pretty interesting people to discuss pregnancy, parenting, and everything in between. On this week's episode, I sit down with Courtney Smith. Courtney's a creative director, stylist, and mum to Bodhi and Zen. So on the pod today, I have somebody I've known for like 95 years through various realms. And the funniest part of it is actually from working with clothes. But like, I wasn't a stylist, I wasn't doing anything like that, but we were both kind of selling clothes in a shop that I think, both adored. So welcome today, Courtney Smith, who is a creative director, an absolute inspiration to women, an entrepreneur and a mom of two. And I worked with Courtney in Topshop.
Yeah. Welcome. Time ago.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Like, it was mad. You were, and Courtney was like, you're a bit younger than me. And I think you were first floor. No,
I was
ground floor.
Like ground. I was ground floor.
And this was a big deal, guys, what floor you were on. Weren't you?
Why was that so weird at the time?
Because if I'm honest, the quirkies were up on the floor with the vintage and the great designers, people like Chupi and Emma Manley, like the people that were starting out were doing their stuff up there, and they were actually quite established. And then there was styling and underwear, random stuff, and we were like kind of a quirky bunch, kind of crazy. And then there was the cool dudes on the ground. Would I be right?
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I was one of the cool dudes.
Like, you were like Courtney would wear like tutu skirts, and cool trainer. Like, you were very cool. And then there was the bottom floor, which was like the funksters, and there was shoes and tall and a few different things. Anyway, this does not matter.
How do they even know to categorize us?
I don't know if they did. I think we ended up with our tribes. So I'd only meet Courtney when I was bringing clothes down, or like you'd be at the change room, and Courtney was always a dote. This podcast is brought to you by Calpol. Is your child struggling to sleep? If so, then try using a soothing Calpol Vapor Plug and Nightlight, an electrical plug-in device that emits lavender and chamomile vapors to soothe and comfort babies and children, helping to promote clear and easy breathing for up to 8 hours. The Calpol Night Vapor Plug and Nightlight is suitable for children from 3 months. Calpol Vapor Plug and Nightlight is an electrical device and non-medicine. Always read the label. But then we went in very different directions. University, I was doing journalism. Courtney was still in fashion, very much so. So it's been a long career so far.
Yeah, and then I went to London and I did fashion.
I didn't know that.
I did a postgrad in London afterwards, and that's where I studied like fashion media in London College of Fashion. So that's kind of where I got into styling. That's where it all began for me. Yeah.
How long were you there?
I was only there, I want to say like 18 months.
Okay.
Ran out of money, as you do.
Did you love it?
Loved it. I always intended on going back, but obviously life takes you in different routes. And within a year, I was on Ireland AM here, and I was making great money. I was 21 and I was making great money, and I was on TV, and I was, I suppose, kind of thrown into the deep end of the styling industry here. And at the time as well, everybody in my genre, everyone who's a stylist, they were more established, a little bit older. So I kind of came in all guns blazing, and I was on TV. Passionate. And I was, really hungry for it. And I was like, okay, I could go back to London, or I could use the platform that I now have and really create a career here, which is what I ended up doing.
Because I think there is an element in media, like I'm in media, I'm not in fashion at all, but there in any part of media, there's a grass is greener thing, and we do it all the time, and we can't help it. I think it's New York is where it's at, and London and Dublin, it's just crap. And actually, you're so right. When you're being minded and nurtured and paid, and you have a career, to kind of be like, I'm just gonna, unless you really have incredible contacts, why would you throw that away just because you think you're above it? Or, you know what I mean? And I think you were very good to the people here. Like, you did the exposes and the Ireland AMs, and you style people and you did shoots, and you did your other bits, but you weren't like, see you later, I kind of watched you do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost two completely different routes, I suppose, within styling alone. And I'm quite a commercial stylist, and I'm very aware of that. I love doing beautiful big editorial shoots, but like I'm not the really avant-garde, fantastical. No, I'm not.
I feel like you are. Okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah, and like I mean, there's lots of amazing Irish stylists that do that and have had to go abroad to make a career because they wouldn't have got that here. We don't have the magazines that would do that here. We don't have the brands that would do that here. So in order for them to get work, they need to be in those big cities like New York and London and Paris. For me, the work that I've been doing predominantly has been like a lot of commercial work. I would have started off working with Primark and Brown Thomas, and now I'm doing campaigns for Paul Sheeran and all these different like Fourth Arc. I do all of their campaigns. So I kind of do the visual side, like I come up with the creative direction for their campaigns and pull all that together. And I love doing that because you're working with a brand, you're nurturing what their vision is. And yeah, that's the way I moved my career. But that's why working here in Ireland worked for me. But it depends on what kind of stylist you want to be.
But it's interesting watching you and you're saying like, I'm not avant-garde. Yes, you're correct. You're working with mainstream brands, but I think you always bring something different. You're not doing what maybe a commercial stylist I think would do actually. And you may not see that, but I think you always go where the water is, or the strange light or the beach shot or something. It's always different. Yeah, and it's really beautiful. The aesthetic is beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, like I don't shoot them with a commercial brain, but I shoot commercial brands. So exactly what you're saying.
But also remember, Courtney, I think a lot of stylists aren't necessarily that interested in fashion themselves. They're interested in styling people. They're not all obsessed. And I think you live and breathe it. So because of that, you're kind of the muse for your own brand. And you're actually selling yourself as well, because you always look fantastic.
Well, I don't always.
Well, you do. And recently you've come, so there's always a lot going on. And, whether you're working with a big brand or you're doing bits at home, but there was something throughout COVID that you were nurturing that was a great success.
Yes.
That now you've made into this show.
Yeah. So it's Closet Confidential, which started during lockdown, but actually before that, I'd been pitching it around.
Okay.
So I had it as an idea and I'd been pitching it into a couple of TV companies.
Exhausting.
Yeah. It's an
You're
exhausting
like, it's actually a really good idea.
Process.
No budget.
No budget, or, not right now. But I was actually quite far along in chats with somebody, and then COVID hit. And I was like, do you know what? I'm not waiting. I'm not sitting on this. It's a great concept. How could I do this in a way? I've got a captive audience right now. People are sitting at home. They're bored. They need entertainment. I needed an outlet. I'm used to being creative and talking about fashion, and I was like literally sitting there twiddling my thumbs. So I made it into a live series. I was doing 3 a week, which is actually a lot, considering I went through.
And we wait for you on the Zoom, does it?
But it was. But I had so much fun doing it. It was I'd look forward to it.
It's like therapy.
It really was, and it was like because I went from being so busy, like working 6 days a week, and hustling and grinding, to nothing. So for me, it was that way. Like, I used to, it would take me time to, message people and be like, do you want to do it? And then I'd promo it. So it was kind of just a way of keeping myself busy as well. So it was as much for me as it was for anyone that was watching. But it did grow a lovely little community. And people used to message me going, oh, I can't wait for the next one. And then obviously as, the levels of lockdown phased out, that audience were getting busier with their own lives. So it just naturally phased out. But I was kind of like, people still message me. Until I relaunched it in a different format last week. But still weekly, people were messaging me going, please bring it back. Please bring it back. I loved it. So I brought it back in a YouTube and a podcast format. So it's like a bit bigger, a bit bolder, definitely glossier, and a lot more work.
Well, it's filmed. You have a videographer following you. You're going to different locations with very different people's styles, right? So the aesthetic is not always going to be the same, person that you see in every magazine. There's people that we may not even know that are super fashionable. And then there's the podcast recording too. And then Zalando are on board.
Yeah, Zalando are sponsoring season 1, which is amazing because, yourself, when you have a podcast, you have anything, to have a sponsor come on before it's a thing. But before I have anything to show them, apart from a few screenshots of the lives, it's great that they kind of had the vision.
Have you recorded it all?
Most of it. I have 2 episodes.
How many guests do you have?
8.
Wow. Okay. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I've really enjoyed it. The one thing I will say that's been quite hard is Bodhi was meant to be in creche by now. So she's 13 months old, and I had anticipated her starting crash at 12 months, but you know, crashes are so busy at the moment, they can't fit her in until she's about 17
This
months.
is some of the real stuff we want to
Yeah.
know about.
Yeah,
I was back to work with Augusto. I run the studio here, Courtney, and in September, Simone was 13 months and her crash place was moved by a year. And there was a year. So there was nowhere else in we had moved out of Dublin. There was nowhere else. I was looking at places across the road from here, and other places in suburbs. I was begging because we don't have, like, we have lovely help, but we don't have that full-time help.
Yeah.
And I'm full-time, my husband's full-time. And it was an absolute nightmare. And it's still a running nightmare. So I know exactly. And you are working for yourself. You got to say yes to jobs. You were doing this. You're promising a client. So it's really hard. Is she in crash now?
No.
What age is she now?
She's 13 months now.
Yeah, okay.
So they can't get her in until she's about 17 months. But I only started filming this when she was around 12 months. But I'd scheduled it all in, thinking she was starting. And I was like, do I push it out?
How did you do that? Your brother?
I'm very lucky. I'm very privileged that I have my family close by, and they have been. They've always been amazing, and I know not everybody has that.
Yeah.
You know, so I know how privileged I am. But my mum, and my dad, and Mark's mum have stepped in when I need them, and like, you know, the filming, they're, you know, half days. They're not full days. I mean, I did film in London, so I had to go away for 2 days. Little things here and there. So I'm very lucky that I have family around to help. But like, it's still hard because it's, you know,
But it's also on your mind. It's never not on your mind. Like,
It
you're
is
never
on your
not
mind.
checking in.
You feel
like you're in
guilty.
London with Millie McIntosh, even though it's only London, you got to get to the airport an hour or two before. You got to fly, you got to get there, get established, film her, get that. It's hard,
Yeah.
and you miss them, and then you're feeling guilty. And
Literally, yeah.
you know, I don't know whether you're still breastfeeding her. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah,
You know?
like, no, I stopped breastfeeding her at about 10 months.
Yeah.
But
It's well done. It's long.
yeah, well, it's not as long as
No, I
some.
know. I didn't do that. Like with Gia, it was 11 months. She was literally like repulsed by me. She was like, no. I was like, oh, okay. Turn my boobs. And she had no interest. Simone is a different kettle of fish. Simone
Yeah.
is literally like addicted.
She loves it.
So I don't know. It was a huge comfort. I don't actually think she was getting anything out of it because the doctor was like, she's a little bit small. I'm like, she's not eating except taking the boobs. So it was a huge comfort to Simone. That's all it was, I think. And then I did a cold turkey. Yeah.
How was that?
Don't listen to this breastfeeding advice, anyone at home. It was hard. It was really, we had to. It was becoming where she would literally scream for it, and that was too hard to listen to. And then we were trying to wean. Like, there was a ton of stuff going on, and I found the work thing hard because I would leave feeding her in the morning, be really full and uncomfortable and sore in work.
Yeah.
And go home, have to feed her again, be really tired from that. Like, it's and it's hard on your body, and then feed 3 times throughout the night. And she was 20 months old. So that's like you're back to newborn stage. It's not normal. So we had to just cut it.
Emotionally and physically draining.
It was very draining physically. I think I wasn't in a good place with it. And Jason, my husband, was like, you got to go on that trip you're invited on. I was like, I can't be doing a ski trip with that. And he goes, go. Because A, it's going to be really good for you. You haven't done a trip like that in 5 years. But B, this will give us this chance. And I was like, she's going to be like Devo. But actually, it's funny when you're not there and they can't smell you. So 1 or 2 nights in, she was chill. And I was over there pumping in the toilets on a ski slope in France. You would have laughed. Like, it's the funniest video ever of this hack-a-pump.
Yeah.
And everyone would slag me in my fanny pack, and my friends are like, you're so... I'm like, well, I have to like release. Like, I was in so much pain. I was so scared of getting mastitis over there. And just with all of that goes with that, it was actually headaches first day. Like, it wasn't easy. And then I hack it. And by the day we were flying home, everything had calmed down. I was in a really good place. I was dying to see her, but of course she was desperate for it when I got home. But I was like, no, couldn't go back.
Yeah. That's a long...
I don't know how we got into that.
Long slog.
Yeah, it was long. But look.
But yeah, it is. It's like, I mean, I did it for 10 months, and I used to take her on set with me because...
Which is great.
Yeah, and I was again so lucky that I'm in a position that I can do that. My clients were all amazing. Like, I was flying her to London for shoots.
Good.
And
2023.
yeah. But like, well, absolutely. But you'd be surprised. You know, not everybody's always game. Sorry, my clients, I was very lucky, but I have heard some stories.
I can't imagine her bringing her into this office, for instance, for an entire day. My baby, you know, that would not be normal.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But like, I think as long as my whole thing was like, as long as I'm doing my job and delivering, then that should be enough. And I think, you know, we did.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I kind of felt like, I don't know about you, but for me, leaving her to go and film. And like, I'm saying her specifically because Zen is in crash. He's a little bit older. He's a little bit more.
Zen?
He is 2.5.
Okay, 2.5, yeah.
Yeah. So he's a little bit more
They're still very little,
I
aren't
know,
they? You
yeah.
have them quite close. They're little babas.
Yeah, they were like 16 months
Yeah.
apart. Yeah. Not particularly planned, but
Yeah, well, Courtney, but that is, it's a small enough gap when you think about it, yeah.
To be honest, like now having done it, I'm glad that was the gap because they're very close and
You're in it.
We're in it. You know, it's all nappies,
Yeah.
all milk. It's all at the same
fine,
time.
yeah.
It's fine. But I still felt for her a massive amount of guilt leaving her going to film. And then I had to kind of retrain my brain to be like, no, you're doing this A, for me, but also for her. I want her to grow up.
Why did you have guilt?
I just kind of felt like I'm leaving her to go and pursue something that's more of a passion project. Yes, it's a job, but it's also like I've been hungry to do it for so long. And I'm like, I need to do this for me. This is the next phase in my career. This is it. So it was like I could have waited 6 months. Like there was nothing time urgent that meant that I had to do it when she was 12 months old, except that I'd kind of put that time frame in my head and I'd kind of, you know, started producing it and things like that. I absolutely could have pushed it out. But for me, I was like, no, it's now.
That's okay.
I'm going to do it now. Yeah, but you know, like I know, and I know it is, but I feel like there was still an element of guilt that I was taking, like, I keep watching these reels keep coming up on Instagram for me. It's about like, you know, I'm sure you see them all as well, but it's like, you know, cherish those little moments and all this. And I'm so emotional. I bawl every time I see them. And one of those comes up and I'm away shooting. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should be with my baby. You know, and
It's like horseshit that feeds into the hormones and it makes everything worse. It's like those videos or memes, like you said, like of... you know, a minder with your kid. By the way, and you're in the office with the brief on your desk and someone shouting at you, by the way, Casey took her first steps today. And you're like, you know, it's those videos where you're like, what? And she's like,
Why
yeah,
did
look
you
at her
tell me
walk.
that?
It's like, what? And then it's like the dad sending you a video. She said her first word, it was dada. You're like, what? It's all this horseshit. I mean...
And honestly, like I talk about this with my partner all the time, that I think I'm a better mum personally when I'm working. As in, it gives me that creative outlet that when I'm home. Like the phone goes down and I'm and I'm engaged and we're playing, we're having fun. And the weekends, like bumped into you in the zoo.
Worst day. I was like, got tickets for this thing and it was so wet, wasn't it?
So wet.
And actually it dried up. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was beautiful, but it was
and
like
those days are great because nobody's in the zoo.
No one's there.
Really
like
quiet.
I went with like every double rain gear double, like we all look like condoms walking into the entrance and Courtney's there like looking really stressed, like, hi, how are you? We're feeling hot today. But that was like, I'd never brought the girl, that's a long story, I'm a bad mum, I'd never brought the girls to the zoo, so I was bringing them there. But I think it's always like, I think this mom guilt, like for Gia, she was in creche at 6 months. Can you imagine? Like looking back now, I'm like she was in creche at 6 months because I had to go back to work. We bought a house in a really nice part of Dublin. We'd overextended ourselves. 6 months you can go back to work. There was a creche, they don't do it anymore, I don't think, that would take her at 6 months. And I just remember the devastation of that and cycling back from my office with my pumped milk and discovering months later they never gave her that milk because she wasn't that into it. But I was like virtuous. I was like, I'm going to pump, bring it back to her, skip my lunch, and that'll be a way of connecting with her. She's not no more interested. She's probably having water, juice, formula, whatever. And I had a ton of guilt over that, and things weren't great. And so when it took so long to have Simone and there was a lot of dramas, I was like, I'm taking the full year and I'm going to immerse myself in this. So my guilt of going back to work in September was huge because I was like, I wanted her and now I'm just going to leave her. So yeah, I think it's always there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to be chill.
No, I know it's a normal thing to feel, but I've had to retrain myself a little bit. You still feel it, but I do think I'm doing this for me and for my mental health and so that I'm a better mum. But I'm also doing it obviously for our family because, you know, I can bring financially to the table and I can, you know, help us live the lifestyle that we want to live. But then on the other side of that, as a mum to a daughter, specifically her, I want her to see that we can fucking do it all. Well, can I say fucking?
Yeah, like Courtney, my mum gave up her amazing career and I think that was sad for a long time and I don't think it benefited her. There's three of us, 3 girls, and she gave up everything and my dad did great. He was a lawyer and he had his big career and I think that was really devastating. I think that breaks a bit of you if you give up yourself. And I think what she did teach us was like, have your own thing. I'm not telling you to go work 5 days for some firm, or I'm not telling you to be, but always have a place in the world. Because if you don't, it's really bad.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be doing, like, you don't have to be, we don't always have to be a huge success or milking in the money. But I think if we don't have an identity and we have kids, we get lost.
Yeah.
So
And
I think you're brilliant, like the fact that you're trying to do all and doing a really great job of it.
Thank you. I feel like, you know, you spoke about identity there. I do feel like that postpartum year, that first initial year, you absolutely lose your identity. And if somebody says they don't, more power to you. I don't know how, because I feel like me doing Closet Confidential has given me a new lease of life.
Do you feel not so much with Bodhi then, Zen? Like, do you feel you lost a bit of your identity the first time, or do you feel like it happened with both? Do you feel it happened? Really?
But probably Zen, and then never really regained it until, and I only feel like I'm regaining it now. Like it was like they were so close together. So like Zen was only, God, I can't even do the maths, but he was like 5 months old.
So
when I got pregnant.
let's backtrack to your pregnancies for a sec. We'll talk about career again in a minute. You fell pregnant with Zen. Obviously wanted to be pregnant.
Yeah.
Got pregnant with Zen, and for someone who has a profile in Ireland, you know, we follow your Instagram, you've been on telly, you've built this great career, and like, yeah, okay, you show bits of your house and sometimes bits of your partner cooking, but we don't see everything about your home life, which is lovely. There's aspects.
Yeah.
We see you in your home, but it's not like always, you kept that private, that pregnancy.
Yeah.
Now, is that fear? Is that privacy? Is that it's no one's fucking business? It's like actually, or what is it? A bit of everything.
It wasn't actually intentional.
Okay.
Completely intentional. What started off as, right, we're gonna keep it private for a while.
Get over the first while.
Yeah, and then I was like, in my head, I was like, right, well, maybe we'll announce it around like 8 months or 9 months or whatever. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, well, even
Full
6 months.
mode. Yeah,
We were documenting the whole thing. We were going for sea swims every morning, and Mark was taking pictures of me as the bump was growing, and the grump was bowing.
Sounds like me on a Monday. I was like, what is that? It's great.
But so we had beautiful pictures. So I was ready to share all of these, but
it's funny. Something stopped you.
Yeah, it was like sometimes it just wasn't the right moment. Like there was a lot of pregnancy announcements throughout lockdown, if you remember, and it was kind of like at one point I was like, I don't want to just be another announcement.
Yeah, and it's intense.
Yeah,
and when you're trying, like we were trying and losing and trying, I find the pregnancy announcements sometimes really intense.
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, I hate to be like trigger warning, but it can be a lot.
I can only imagine.
It's like, I'm really happy for Joanna, and I don't want Joanna's baby, but like, whoa, you know.
And I felt like there was one like literally every week, especially within
that time,
within that within the media realm. And then there was like, you know, articles going up on different websites and stuff.
I know,
and
they grab it and they're like, here's a pic.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, do we want that? Do we not want that? So we just kind of got to the point where it's like, I was like, he was actually a little bit early, but I was
was he?
He was only a few days early, but I think still up until like a week before I was due to give birth, I was like, well, we announce it now. Like it was,
because I think one or two people I knew who were working on set with you had an inclination or might have, but were like, I don't know, and you can never ask someone.
Like because when the restrictions were lifting, like I was on set doing a big campaign for Littlewoods.
Yes, I think that was it.
I think it was like a 5-day shoot. For the first 2 days, people didn't realise because I was just wearing baggy clothes.
Yeah, and you can hide it. You're petite anyway.
And then by day 3, someone was like, hang on, wait a second. And I was like, oh yeah, did I forget to tell you? Because I'd kind of forgotten that. Not that I'd forgotten.
But you were in it.
But it was like...
so he comes early.
He came a few days early, yeah.
Were you all into the pregnancy? How did you find being pregnant?
I loved every minute of it. I know, sorry, I'm one of those.
No, not at all. I
loved it.
Gia, not so much. Okay. Just full throttle embraced it.
Full throttle embraced it. Do you know what? I was constantly traveling, like constantly. Like a week before lockdown happened, I was in Miami. Okay, I was constantly on a plane, and I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, 6 days a week. I'd go training. I'd go work. I was doing film, like on
Life was
TV,
full
on.
Okay,
and I remember saying to Mark one day, we were walking the dog, and I was like, oh my God, I wish everything could just pause so I could catch up. I'm playing catch up and everything. I can't actually catch my breath. And then obviously lockdown happened, and it was like, and I know obviously there was a lot of horrific, you know, things that happened as well. But for me, it was that one opportunity that slow down. It was like the world had said, okay, you finally get to slow down. And kind of relished that time, that really slow time. I was having naps. I couldn't tell you the last time I had naps. And obviously I was tired because I was pregnant. Going for really long leisurely walks on the beach with my dog, with my partner. At the beginning of lockdown, my best friend was staying with us, Darren, as well. And like I got to spend the most amazing couple of months with him. And then he subsequently passed away a year later. So I will never
get that far.
Yeah. So I have to look back at that time and be like, I grew my firstborn. I spent the most amazing time with the people I loved the most. It was, I can see your eyes.
I'm really upset for you, yeah. I won't get into that, but I know that that's been heartbreaking for you.
Yeah, it was.
And you've huge gratitude for the time you spent with him.
Huge
And like
gratitude.
we've all had people close to us over the years that we've lost, but like I also know that he was your bestie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, he was a huge part of my life. And yeah, so I was like, it was this slow, sacred time that I was I think if I was pregnant with Zen, with my firstborn, in the life that I was having beforehand, I don't think I would have stopped and appreciated it the way that I did. And I was just so in tune and calm.
Were you worried about work? Like, or did that just not, was it just that you were embracing all this beauty of life? Like this house now, you live by the sea, you were enjoying like good cooking, good times. Like, was it that you were really relishing all that stuff that you weren't panicking about work? Or did you kind of go, when is this going to come back? Like, are we ever going to go back to having careers? Is this world of...
I think I was trying to put such a, maybe overly so, but I was trying to put such a positive slant on everything because it was a scary time. It was, of course it was. I don't mean to like, paint it with this, oh, it was the most beautiful time in the world. Of course it was scary as well. I was growing a baby and I didn't get to see my mum. You know what I mean? I didn't get to see my best friends or my sister. Like I didn't have that. I had Mark and Darren there initially and then Mark, but I didn't have the support network that most people usually have when they're pregnant. Didn't get to do any of the classes or anything
lunches,
like that. Yeah. So like I missed out on a lot. So I definitely made the most of the situation.
Are you a very positive person?
Yeah, annoyingly probably.
Like you err on the side of...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, always actually. And I definitely did that throughout. I was like, right, what are the positives we have here? I'm growing a baby. We get to spend all this extra time together. We get to nest
Because when you work for yourself, like growing a baby and mat leave just ain't a thing.
No.
It's like hustle. So you actually had to slow down. And then afterwards you probably got to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then even like, I mean, when Zen was born, it had gone back.
Tell us about your labour. If you want.
Yeah, it feels like such a blur, to be honest. I gave birth in Hollis Street. And honestly...
So what, he came a few days early, you went in?
Yeah, like my waters broke at home. So Mark had started going back to the office and he got up really early, like 4:30 or something to go into the office. And I started having a few cramps and I went into the bathroom and I had the Hollywood moment.
Me too. It's about which I was like, wow.
It was like, oh, it actually...
Yeah, there's a thing. Yeah. So weird, isn't it?
So bizarre.
Strange sensation.
Very
it's
much.
Gross. It's just so weird.
Yeah. So I was... I got into the shower.
I wanted it. I was like, I've seen all these films. I hope I didn't get it with Gia.
But I got into the shower and I decided to wash my hair. I was like, this would be lovely. You read things like, okay, so don't rush in, all this sort of stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll go wash my hair.
And you weren't in pain?
No, I was.
A little bit.
Like,
okay.
well, it was in the early stages of it. So it was just intense. So I washed my hair and I told Mark, obviously, and he was like, oh, I'll come home straight away. Like, he'd only just left. And I was like, no, do you know what? I think we're fine for a while. You go do some work. And then by the time I got out of the shower, I was like, messaging him, going, get home now. Like, it came in quite quick succession. And when he got home, I was like... on the floor, GHDing my hair. He was like, what are you doing?
What are you
I was
doing?
like, I want nice hair.
Could you not have gone in with it wet? Oh God, Courtney.
No, I was like envisioning my
God, the vanity of this stylist. Oh God, love you.
So I went in with a full-on great hair.
That's a commitment.
But anyway, then we went in and... honestly, before we went in, I hobbled across the road in the throes of...
Oh my God, you're the exact same as me and Gia. I stayed at home to labour at home because I was like, I'm not going to. And then I went in full throttle, 7 centimetres dilated. Horrendous.
Ran across the road to get a picture of sunrise because I was like, well, this is a moment I
Oh my
want.
God, you're off your rocker.
Mark's
You're off your.
the
What's
horn
wrong with us?
Because I literally was like, I couldn't.
Social media.
I literally stopped in the middle of the road because I was like, oh Jesus, running across the road.
Bloody show for anyone who's not acquainted with that everywhere. Like horrendous.
I don't know what was it, but I do have a beautiful photo of sunrise
Good for
on
you.
the morning
Good for you,
that Zen
If Zen had
arrived.
come on that road, he would always say, my mom was just really into pit. Like, Jesus.
I really like sunrises.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, the rest of it is quite
Is he quite quick?
a
Did he come
blur.
quick?
He was very quick. Yeah,
That's great.
So like, he'd arrived by, I think 1 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's quite quick.
That's
isn't it?
really quick.
Yeah.
This is exactly like Gia. It was like, Jay, don't worry about coming home and having popcorn with the dog on the couch. It's just period type pains. And I was like all zen and doing my hypnobirthing, and then things got horrendous.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like cursing him. It was like something out of a movie. I was like, let's get into the car. I remember going through Ranelagh and there was bumps on some kind of, like, I think Dartmouth Square. And I was literally like, what the hell? He's like, I'm not even doing anything. I was like, it was so intense.
Yeah.
And then just dragging our shit across to Holles Street, illegally parking. And there was a pregnancy ball, a candle, a fan, my bag, shit that I never used for anyone. I never used this stuff. Got in there and your woman's like, it's first time, you probably just need to pee on a pad. Because I'd say you're not even. And when I peed on the pad, she's like, we'll bring you up and have a look. And then I was 7 centimetres. And I think they were like, because they thought that I was crying wolf, that I was just like,
I think
I was so delicate. I was in agony. And then she came quick, just like that. I didn't have a chance to think.
I knew he was coming quick because it was still lockdown, so they were only letting the partners in when you were physically in labour.
Yeah.
So they brought me up to the room, and I was like, I thought I had quite a high pain threshold, and they brought me into the room anyway, and I was like, so let me know when I need to. They were like, oh no, he needs to come up now, and I was like, oh okay, we're doing this kind of thing. And there was a bit of commotion because I was private. I went private. I think for me, I went private because I was so, like, while everything was trying to be positive, I was also very anxious because Mark couldn't come into anything with me.
Same. We went private because I was anxious. It's not like we could afford it. I just wanted to.
No, literally. Like, I'm really glad we did because
it's important to state that to people because I don't think it's some secret club. Like, private is a expensive choice.
Yes.
People that go semi have a great experience. People who do domino have a great experience. I've actually had people who've had better experiences sometimes. But if you go private and you love your consultant, it can be great. But it ain't cheap.
No, it's really not. For me, I was kind of like, well, if Mark isn't allowed into the birth, because when we first got pregnant, the partners weren't even allowed in at the birth, and I was like, I want one friendly face there. That was my
that you
kind
know.
of, I was like, so I want to see, like, the person who is helping me. I want to know them. I don't want it to be a room full of strangers.
Did you love your consultant?
Loved her, Rona Manny.
Rona Manny,
yeah,
right.
she's amazing,
Fantastic.
She was absolutely amazing. And what had happened was so they went looking for her, and all of a sudden his heart was dropping, and there must have been about 10 people in the room. They had another doctor all suited up, ready to go. There was 3 or 4 midwives, and there just seemed to be a lot of commotion. They were keeping me, not really filling me in on what was going on. But then it was very much a push, we're getting the baby out. And he did come quite quickly, but I assumed, having never given birth before, that was normal, that there was 12 people in your room. So when I gave birth to Bodhi,
like, where's the team?
It was literally 2 midwives.
Yeah.
And I was like, they were like, okay, we're going to give it a push. And I go, do you not have to wait for everybody? That's what I said. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, the last time there's 12 people here. And they were like,
crazy.
No, you're just going to push, babe.
Did you ever find out why they were so worried or what happened with the...
Yeah, they said afterwards just his heart rate was dropping. So
in case they had to do a C.
Yeah. Or I think, I don't really, they didn't actually go into it. They were just, his heart rate kept dropping. They were like, we need to get him out now. So they did say that the next step was going to be an emergency C-section. So that's why they were like, push now.
It's scary, isn't it?
But Rona made it in split second. It was like one of those kind of superhero moments, literally slid into the room,
they're
gloves
incredible,
on, and
aren't
go.
they? But they're incredible.
Yeah.
And you say each time they're incredible. It's like they do that all the time.
I know, but it is the most incredible
my baby
thing.
was the most special. And he said that this baby, and Jason's like, she's just giving birth to 4. This poor kid, this poor baby's today. I'm like, yeah. So you have this little Zen, great name.
Thank you. Very much inspired by, I suppose, our pregnancy because it was so quiet and it was so zen, and I was trying to meditate in the mornings, and I was doing like cacao ceremonies. I was trying to do all the things that I could possibly do to make it positive birthing as much as possible. So we kind of had it in our heads already, and it just made sense when he was born. Okay, the birth wasn't very zen, but you know,
nothing's ever seamless and perfect. But you took to it. It seems like a little duck to water, like you were there with this baby, and it was really sweet to see you. I feel like, you know, I know that you're not like in your 20s, but I feel like you're a really young person, and you're, you know, but you just took to it. Like, you were so sweet. It was such a natural thing. And yet I'd always seen you as this big stylish career woman, and then suddenly you were this maternal. It was really lovely to see this change. It was really cute. And you really took to it. And then there was this like,
and then there was another
Instagram
one
post.
away.
Yeah, but I think you announced it. And did you find your followers, who I know are there for the content stuff, a bit like, oh my God, or was it quite chill and nice and embracing?
No, well, very embracing, but I think
was anyone like finding it in Alice?
No, I think most people just respected it. Good. And I think people really were like, well, fair fucks.
Yeah.
Well done.
And then you did the same. Did you know you were pregnant with Bodhi quite early?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm one of the, like, I knew I was I feel like I know I'm pregnant immediately. I know people say that's not possible, but
No.
Literally the next morning I'm like,
you know,
I'm that hungry.
Yes, yeah. You know you're pregnant, yeah.
Yeah. I did, yeah. And I mean, Zen was only 5 months old, so it was very quick.
That's intense.
I know.
That's so intense. Wow. Yeah.
So
how did you find being pregnant with a little baba?
That was harder.
Yeah.
Like, so it was also like, you know, a bit busier with a baby. Work was picking up a little bit as well. So that was a little bit harder, but I think the hardest part was when we lost Darren.
So you're going through a trauma while you're pregnant. Were you pregnant with her? Yeah.
I was 6 months pregnant with her when he passed away. So that
just flatten you, or?
Yeah, that was the hardest part, to be honest, because it's really hard to be happy about something when you're so sad. Like, I took like 3 months off work, which I just really couldn't afford to do. But I was just not emotionally with it or there. And you have to get up because you've got a baby. And I had to get up for Zen. But like, honestly, if he wasn't there, I don't know how I would have got
Thank God for the kids. I sometimes say that about trauma. Like, thank God you had so much reason.
Yeah.
Or I think it would have been hard for you and your partner. Like, you would have just...
Yeah. He was amazing. And I know that's, you know, what they're there for. But like... It was also his friend.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's also sad.
But he obviously, I suppose, had to just be my support system. So I'd say it probably was quite hard for him to even be able to grieve, because he didn't want to...
picking you up.
Yeah. So that was really hard. Like, so the last trimester in particular was just tough. And then, like, we'd only actually... He passed away... When he passed away, we'd just been out for dinner at their house, like literally 2-3 days beforehand. And I'd asked him to be Bodhi's godfather. And we were talking about the names that we wanted and everything. So, like, knowing that I was about to give birth.
And he was so excited about that, I presume.
So excited, yeah. And he was amazing with Zen. So I have beautiful photos of him and Zen.
He wanted to be here with you guys for a long time, yeah.
Yeah. And we'd plans, we'd life plans, you know? Like, we used to talk about what we'd be doing when we were 80 years old. So it's losing a limb, and so grieving and giving birth at the same time. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because this momentous happy occasion, and like, obviously you're full of hormones as well. So like, it was amazing giving birth to her, and obviously like, you're just so in love. But then, you know, the quiet bit afterwards when everybody else leaves and you're in the room on your own, and it's, you know, just sobbed, because it is lonely. And like, you're looking after a baby, but you're also full of these emotions. And like, he was one of the first persons, that I messaged when Zen was born. So I didn't get to do it with her.
Did you text into the abyss? Did you?
Yeah. I still message him. I still send him voice messages, which I know some people...
It's really important. No, I think that's...
Yeah, some people think, you know, it's probably time to stop, but...
No.
We used to just voice message every day, so I think it's a really nice way to keep...
Yeah.
He's listening somewhere.
He is, of course. Like, you're very bright. Like, Courtney, it's really hard. Like, life is mad in so many ways, but you've got someone that's like your little life partner. He's your soulmate, totally different to your actual partner.
Yeah.
And you lose that person when you're going through a pretty massive stage. Like, I think pregnancy, I think we we take it for granted. Pregnancy, birth, the baby days. Like, I'm just telling you there about breastfeeding Simone that long. That was actually crippling. Like, I can be like blasé. It was crippling. And you were doing all that while your heart was broken, and yet you're trying to be like full of joy for Bodhi and grateful and #blessed, and you're broken, you know. And you do, all we can do is get on with it, pick ourselves up, but it's not easy.
No.
Do you think it's changed your life?
Oh,
yeah,
without a doubt. Because every milestone, like every single milestone, Zen's first birthday, like, you know, her first birthday.
How do you kind of get through, like, how do you, obviously you have to fall to pieces sometimes, it's completely normal to do that, but how do you navigate, like, how do you feel if you're not doing therapy, if some people can't afford it or not interested in therapy, or some people aren't, and I know you've spoken about this before with Georgie, but like, how do you, is it really just survival, or do you navigate it quite well? Are you good? Do you have the tools?
I did do therapy. I did grief therapy, which I found really helpful. To a point, I stopped doing it just after Bodhi was born because I didn't have time to do it. Honestly, like finding an hour a day
to be talking about your emotion,
an hour a week,
and plus it's draining.
Yeah, it is. I talk about him a lot, like, and without crying. So like we just talk, like he's almost like an everyday part of our conversation. He's photos everywhere. Like Zen knows who he is. Zen points up and says, you know, Uncle Dar. So we talk about him like he's here, and we talk about him, you know, very much as part of the family and memories and all that sort of stuff. And I actually find that quite cathartic because it's he's still a part of our life that way. And his partner Mark is Bodhi's godfather here on earth. So, you know, we keep that connection together, and we talk about him and we celebrate him, and, you know, Mark set up a charity in his name, and we just
Do you
try and celebrate.
find it hard to be with Mark sometimes because it reminds you, or is it okay? Do you find sometimes it's a bit too much?
No, I actually really enjoy being in his company because it's yeah, and like he's a huge part of our family. He always was anyway, but like I think he feels the same. Like we spend a lot of time together, so and he's amazing with the kids, and
it's really sad.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm really sorry for your loss. I feel like grief. I feel like in our parents' day, when perhaps grandparents were dying younger and things were a lot different, you know, it's sad when you think back to them having babas and their mum was dead or their dad had just died and they had to give birth and they'd no one to help. And I feel like all that trauma is really hard, and like we don't ever deal with it. So it's like this generational thing. And I know Sarah McGinn, she has a podcast, she was talking about how her mum passed away, I think the week before she gave birth, or the week to her first child. And she was like, here I was in a hole and then I'm giving birth. And it's like, and that is just, you have to kind of like, oh, you have a beautiful baby. And it's like, oh, I'm just dealing with this thing. And how do you think you adapted with Bodhi, or was it just like all hands on deck? Like you just needed a ton of support?
It was very much all hands on deck. I think I retreated a little bit into myself, if I'm honest. Like I think I was very much like, my little family, here we are.
And you're protective of Darren, which I love.
Yeah, very much. You know, I share him on social media because I love to show the world how amazing he was. But there's a lot I don't share as well because I want to, you know, very much keep those
You also
memories.
don't want the media to be like grabbing another, like there's just enough that's been going on with that it's actually like, it's about the lovely stuff, but I don't want to give too much of him away because then someone might take the picture and like, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a couple of years, you know. So, and like, yeah.
Did you ever think it would be like this? Like when you were like going into the pregnancy with Zen, COVID, and then having a second child in quick succession, and then the loss of, like, did you ever foresee that life would be like this?
No,
it's crazy.
And like, I feel it's a weird one because I feel incredibly blessed and lucky, and then I feel like life has cheated me at the same time. It's a very strange place feeling because I'm so grateful. I've got 2 incredible kids. I've got a beautiful home. I've got a career I love, and then
it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, there's just that one, like that thing there, that big thing, and it's like, did I take it for granted at the time how lucky I was? Like, as in, if Darren hadn't passed away, I had it all. I had
No,
it
I don't
all.
think it didn't seem like you took it for granted. I don't think that's how life works. It's like our parents, like we love them to death. Do we tell them all the time? No, usually we're like, can you pick up the baby? And, you know, and like
Do
something
me a
happens,
favour.
are we assholes? No, like
No.
that's not how life. Sure, this morning Jason sent me a photo of an iron print on a really nice rug we have upstairs because I left the iron on it, and he's like, you're like the kids. Imagine something happened and that's our last. But that's life. Like that's life. That's real life. And I was like, I'm not like one of the kids that's really patriotic. And then it's like X in the next mess. You know, that's what do we act like? We're grateful all the time. It's not possible, you know.
No, yes, true. But it does make life like, not tricky is the wrong word, but I do feel incredibly grateful, incredibly lucky, and I try and live that way every day. Like when I did Georgie's podcast, we spoke about like, she was asking me how I'm grateful, and I was like, I try to find the good in the little moments every day, and I genuinely do. That's what I do. So like, it might not be every moment of every day, but there's definitely something beautiful in every day, and that's what I try and do. So that's the kind
How
of
do you
best.
parent? Are you into it?
Yes, it's
Okay.
it's a bit trickier with a 2.5-year-old. He's definitely knows how to push the buttons now, but do you know what? It's a fun.
Do you feel like there's a difference in gender? So do you think that's a thing? Because people are like, oh no, it's all the same. Like boys and girls are different, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. He is. Do you know what? Like he's a character.
But he's
though.
busy.
Oh, he is busy. There's always something going on. But like, I love this age. I know people say like terrible twos. Like,
No, I love this. I love 18 months to
this age.
all of it. Like I find the tiny baby thing, as much as I'm like, it's so romantic, it's really hard. So
Yeah.
this is gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the tiny baby. I actually love the first like 3 months.
And then it's like, someone take over for people. I'm so tired.
The first 3 months I'm really into. Like I love that little, I'm just gonna stay here and just nurture and feed, and that I can get down with. And then the next few months I find incredibly hard, the sleep deprivation, all of that. Like that's
intensity
intense.
of the emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the hormones and all that sort of stuff. But then this age with Zen, like Bodhi's just at the stumbly half walky age, which is very cute, but she's very clingy. Like she's absolutely obsessed with me, which I love. But like it's very hard to leave. So I'm like, you know, tiptoeing out.
Yeah.
Even if she's with like, you know, her nana or her granny or whatever, it's all about me. Yeah, it's very cute. I kind of love it.
Someone full blown snogs me, like Wesley kisses me, like this tongue, and like, and it's always like no data, bold data, and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. I'm like, love this, love. And Jason's like, you're feeding into this horseshit. It's very sweet.
It's a fun age. Like, so he's at the age where he'll, you know, just have little conversations and tells me if he doesn't like things, but he's like, no, mama.
No,
and like,
I know, it's
just,
all so cute.
And he just entertains me. The stuff he comes out with, he's like, more bubbles, more bubbles.
It's just like, okay.
I'll give you more bubbles, all right.
Sounds like you on a night out.
Yeah.
Did you see yourself with 2 kids? Is this the plan with you and your partner, or were you like, whatevs, we'll see what happens?
We're kind of, go with the flow. I would say the grandparents are listening going, please.
Oh no, I mean, did you ever see yourself with 2 kids? No, I don't mean
Are there more?
How's your sex life, Courtney?
Again,
You don't know.
kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like we always discussed kids. Like
Okay.
I was very much, I suppose there was definitely a period in my life when I was like career gal that I was like, I don't know, I could probably, you know, we have a nice life, traveling the world, going to nice restaurants, So it was definitely a conversation we had to have. We didn't just kind of
Fall into it.
you know. Zen wasn't expected, but
Okay.
like, so we didn't plan him per se,
But you're happy
we,
enough that you were getting pregnant. Yeah.
100%. We were together a long time, and we at that stage we'd said that we were definitely going to have kids.
Okay.
It was just a matter of when. But it was a conversation that I think most couples need to have because it was one that changed. Like it was initially maybe we won't. You know,
Has it changed your relationship? Did you find there's been ups and downs or not? Are you pretty zen?
We're a pretty solid crew. I think we parent really well together. I think one of the most important things is that we're both completely on the same wavelength. So,
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, like, you know, in terms...
That's rare.
Yeah, because, you know, parenting styles differ, but we parent the exact same way. We have the same train of thought when it comes to things. And I think that makes things a lot... I don't want to say easier because parenting isn't easy, but more seamless.
Because that's hard when you both have a different, like, there's someone stricter or someone more chill about something or so. Like, that's tricky.
Yeah.
It's the butting heads. But it's also just exhaustion and hormones and wanting to get. I remember the competitive nature of like he gets to go for a run and I'd be sitting on the couch.
Oh, sorry, that
boob
still
out.
happens.
Yeah, I found that it's the competition for time. Like Simone was 12 weeks old, and as much as I loved sitting there eating dark chocolate and breastfeed, I was a bit like, where are you going? And you get to wear whatever you want because you're figure, and just that silly competitive of which then you're like,
oh, you got 30 minutes to work out, good for you. Like, and it is, you do it that kind
It's
of
pathetic.
sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
That's very much a certain phase of
no, it's all phases. Then you forget about it, then you're like, how did we come through that? I was such a dick. Like in the mornings it was like, last night was hell. He's like, but you should wean her off the boob and then I'll help you. Then I'm like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, well, why are you so cross then? And even now he's having to do the odd night that she'll wake, which hasn't really been purpose. It's happened, and he'll be like, God, I'm like, really once I did that for 18 months. It is such a competitive, but then the fun moments are fun and beautiful and special, and the calm and when they're playing, I think the sibling thing is beautiful because when they're starting to play and enjoy each other, and
and
they're just laughs.
They're just at that phase now. Like, I mean, Bodhi can't really do much, but like she's purely entertained by Zen
be very
jumping
close.
around. They're very close. He's very cute. I come down in the mornings. If I'll usually bring him down first and get him some milk and clean his nappy and stuff, and then I'll go up and get her. And as I come down, he's now waiting with her bottle at the bottom of the stairs.
He's gonna adore her.
Is that not the cutest thing?
That is so cute.
Every time I come down now, he's like that.
Did you have a brother?
I have an older sister.
You have an older sister, yeah. No, but you didn't, like, he's going to be obsessed with her.
Yeah, big brother, best big brother. So.
How are you now? We'll finish on a note of like, how are you in everything in your life? Like, I'm loving I'm mad about fashion, but I'm loving your Closet Confidential videos because I feel like they're if anyone hasn't seen them, they're not like, and 30-minute videos are cool too, but like for me, they're just this chunky little
10-minute
digestible piece, nicely edited, and then like interesting people, because Millie, you would have expected her to have like, I don't know,
a pristine
5 walk-in wardrobe.
Yeah.
And it was just this really, like, not ordinary, because her style is obviously beautiful and high fashion, but like just chill, how she had it presented to you, which I loved. And, the next one, again, I didn't know this person and she was awesome. And
that was kind of important to me.
Yeah,
I've got some really big, well-known names, and then I wanted people that I want to be the tastemaker of telling people who to follow in terms of like, these people are incredibly stylish. If you don't know about them, you should follow them.
Well, remember, a lot of these people have been done by so many people before, right? They're always on something right there. And that's great. And they are a name for a reason, but there's nothing nicer than discovering. And that's what you're doing too. So well done with that.
Thank you.
It's on drops on Sundays, which is perfect time for it to drop. But you've got that. You're obviously busy.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm honestly good. Like, somebody asked me that recently, and I feel like I've gotten into a bit of a flow now. Don't want to, I wouldn't say work-life balance, but I would say, I have a nice flow. I've got a bit of work, I'm dipping into it. I've got the Closet Confidential, that is like my passion project as well. But I'm really happy. I am really happy. Doesn't mean that there's not bad days, but in general, I'm very,
Do you think you're brave? Do you think you're one of the brave ones? Like, you work for yourself, you've always made it work. Do you think that's brave, or is it just who you are? Were you never really going to work for the man?
It's just who I am at this age. I mean, like, I'm 16 years self-employed. I don't think I could work for somebody now. I think they'd probably kill me. They kick me out after a week because I'd be too bossy.
Like, I know what I'm doing.
I think I'll always be self-employed. My dad was self-employed my entire life growing up, and he had an office in the back garden before anybody did those. So like, he was very much involved. He was a very hands-on dad. So I feel like maybe that's part of, I liked the idea of that work-life balance of, being there for breakfast and all that sort of stuff. So, I'm happy and I'm busy. So I like being busy.
And follow Courtney's mum, Over the Hill. She's just
fab.
so cute. She's on Instagram as well, and she is fab. Courtney Smith, it was so important for me to get you in here. I wanted to chat to you about everything. Keep doing what you're doing. And like, there's another conversation to be had down the line about social media, because you show your kids, but you don't show your kids. And that's something that's obviously been completely just like, it's a complete purpose. Now, I don't put my kids on the grid, but I do put them on stories, and there's no reason. Nobody needs to see them, but I just obsess with them.
Do you know what?
My husband hates social media.
Will I give you a quick little, my partner's the same. He's just not social media. No, he's not. It's kind of twofold. It's that kind of that privacy thing, but also like a few years back, about 5 years ago, I actually had my identity stolen and a false account set up on Facebook. And at the time, I obviously didn't have kids, but my little nephew, Logan. And I used to see him every week, take loads of photos, put them everywhere. All of those images were taken, put up onto a Facebook account. It was a Bitcoin account. They had thousands of followers, like tens of thousands of followers. Yeah. They were making money off it. This woman had a different name. Logan had a different name. It was her son. It was really bizarre. So they created this entire online profile and they were doing Bitcoin trading on it. So they were making money as well. And it took me a really long time to get it shut down. And it made me incredibly uncomfortable because of the power of what people can do. And that's like the least kind of invasive they could do. Like there's a lot worse things. And, you know, we just decided from the get-go that our kids' faces would never be put onto social media from like, you know, that kind of probably started it. But I think, you know, we've all seen the stories and it's just not.
And you know, they've banned it in France.
Putting kids up.
So as in, because kids in their teens are suing their parents?
Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah.
Years later.
So they've said if you do that, so like I'm all like, oh, because, you know, Gia's now recognisable, I would never put her on the grid, but I can put a few stories, I swish up into it. But of course you can save those down. But I'm just like, oh, I'm not big on a profile, it doesn't matter. But it's funny how you do these things. You don't know why you do it, but you're like, it's because they're cute. But who is it helping? It's just odd. Like I share them and people are like, oh, it's cute and heads yours. And then I get into chats with a girl I haven't seen in ages. And I love the chats. And I like that about social media, the engagement. But my husband is completely adverse. I don't even think he's thinking about the dark web or sinister stuff. I think he's just like, they don't need to be on it. They won't thank you for it. I would have killed my mum.
Yeah.
If I think back now when she shows Jason photos of me butt naked with jam on my tummy and like looking creepy, like I'm like, why are you showing? Like I would have. So I think we can learn. We can learn a lot.
Don't get me wrong. I would love. My kids are so freaking cute. I would love to put them up.
But we see we see your interactions. We see them. You don't need to see them.
I keep buying outfits that look cute from the back.
But it means no one will ever. There was a girl on this podcast who has a profile, but she's not like, you know, million followers or anything. And she said she stopped showing her son on Instagram because she went to a local playground and a woman was like, "Oh, there he is. There's whatever his name is, Bennett." And she's like, I follow him. And she said she found that so weird. And she's not like
huge.
You know, she's got a profile in business and she's awesome, but she just said it freaked her out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of, I mean, I don't even draw the line there. We drew the line.
She was like, sorry, Ben, that I was like showing you ever. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think, I mean, like each their own. I actually love looking at other people putting their kids up. But it's just something we always said from the get-go. That's something it was again a discussion that we had about like how we were going to parent or how we were going to deal with this, because I do have a following on social media and I do, you know, sometimes I'll put something up and it'll go up onto a website. And I was like, okay, so if I put pictures of my kids up, is it going to go up
That's
out there
the thing,
in different places?
Like you put it up, it's slightly, unfortunately, a bit of it, not a free for all, but like when I was writing stories digitally years ago and I want a nice pic that I'll take of you posing in an Instagram pic to go with this nice byliner, and you've put up one maybe when you had Bodhi or you put a play, that could be used. Yeah. And I'm not saying you couldn't say, could you please, and most people are super decent, they will take it down. But you're right.
Yeah. And it's funny because people think like I don't want my kids photographed. Like I brought Bodhi to the Brian Thomas fashion show because I couldn't get childcare, and I was like, oh, first fashion show, Brian Thomas, not bad for her. And I brought her along anyway. And one of the photographers was like, can I take a photo of you? Like, and I was like, yeah, I'd love a little photo with my daughter at the fashion show. But I think people think that I don't want them. Like I was like, that's different.
That's okay.
Like, you know, that's totally. It's just
that's
I don't want
a viral
to
moment.
No, exactly.
That's for you.
But yeah.
Thank you for coming on, Courtney Smith. You are a very interesting, I don't know, you're not that you're complex, but you've so many different sides to you. And I love that. I think you've got so much going on, and like all the women on this series, and I'm honoured to have spoken to you. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
This podcast is brought to you by Calpol. Is your child struggling to sleep? If so, then try using a soothing Calpol vapor plug and nightlight. An electrical plug-in device that emits lavender and chamomile vapours to soothe and comfort babies and children, helping to promote clear and easy breathing for up to 8 hours. The nightlight emits a soft light to help comfort your child and guide you in the room so that you don't disturb your sleeping child. The Calpol Night Vapor Plug and Nightlight is suitable for children from 3 months. Calpol Vapor Plug and Nightlight is an electrical device and non-medicine. Always read the label. I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Little Birdie Told Me, and if you did, it would be wonderful if you could subscribe to the podcast.